Hello, hello. Welcome to a new live stream. How are you guys? Hello, hi. Welcome to a new live stream, guys. How are you? I hope everything is great. Hola, hola a todos. Bienvenidos a un nuevo en vivo. ¿Cómo están? Espero que estén muy bien. Today we are going to learn about the verb recordar, the Spanish verb recordar. This verb has quite a few meanings and uses, so we will talk about 5 of them, the most important ones, and we will go over examples and we will break everything down so everything is clear. Okay, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time I live stream. I want to give a big shout out to our Cafecito members, Thomas Jenkins, great work, Janko Juan, Regulation D, Brianna L, Nick Ross, James Mullin, Robert Green, Michael Lee, Gregory Ramirez, Ruby Brockenberry, Christopher Michael, and David Beaver. Thank you guys. El cafecito está delicioso. Muchas gracias por el apoyo. And if you want me to give you a shout out and to get some perks as well, you can become a Cafecito member. If you want to read more about it, please just click on the join button down below. Excellent. Thank you again, Cafecito members. Thank you for the support. Okay. Remember that I'm live streaming, so if you want to say hola, hello, please feel free to do so. Also, if you have any questions about anything that we're going to learn today, you can use the live chat for that as well. And also to practice your Spanish, pretty much. Remember that you have to be a subscriber if you want to use the live chat. So just click on the subscribe button down below. Excellent. So let's get started. Let's talk about this Spanish verb, recordar. I see Lumify is on the chat, on the live chat. Welcome to remember. My last guess is to record, but I'm not sure. Well, recordar has, it's a simple verb. It has some meaning, some uses, and we're talking about remembering, okay? We're not talking about recording anything. No, I know that it sounds like it because of the first part. Pretty much the whole word sounds like you're saying record, but it's not. It's not that. Recordar. This verb, let me just tell you that this verb is an irregular verb, so you need to know its conjugation. There's some irregularities, so it doesn't follow, grammar rules when conjugating the verb. The verb doesn't follow some grammatical rules for sure. There's some irregularities. It's not that irregular, but it is considered an irregular verb. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's talk about 5 uses of this verb, recordar. Let's learn the basics. This first part is going to be the basics. So let's see what we have here. Recordar can mean to remember something or someone. So just to remember, just to remember. Very easy. That's one of the basic meanings of this verb, to remember, recordar. So let's look at some examples using this verb. ¿Te acuerdas de mí? ¿Te acuerdas de mí? This is a very good question, by the way. And the meaning is, do you remember me? So if you want to say, do you remember me in Spanish, you can say, ¿te acuerdas de mí? ¿Te acuerdas de mí? So let's break this down. Let's see how this question works. Te is a pronoun, by the way. Te is a pronoun and it means you. Pretty much just it means you. Sometimes it means yourself as well, but essentially it's a reflexive pronoun and it means you, okay? You. So in this situation, we have you here, okay? You. We're not saying tú, right? We're not saying tú because that also means you. We use te, okay? And this is very common to do when asking questions in Spanish. You use te. ¿Te acuerdas de mí? ¿Te comiste mi pastel? Did you eat my cake? ¿Te gustaría ir al restaurante? Would you like to go to the restaurant? So te is very important if you want to ask someone if they want to do something or if, for example, they remember something in the situation. But te is very useful for sure. And in this situation, it's very similar to saying do you, okay? Te acuerdas. This is the verb that we're learning today. And it means remember. Do you remember? Te acuerdas. And when you want to add more to the verb recordar, after the verb recordar, you can use de. Do you remember? And you're going to add more. ¿Te acuerdas de? Okay, because you can also ask, ¿te acuerdas? And that means, do you remember? Okay, but if you want to add more, then you can add de. ¿Te acuerdas de? We don't have it in English, of course, because English is a different language. And in this situation here, we want to ask if you remember me. Me. ¿Te acuerdas de mí? With an accent mark on top of the letter I, by the way, because if it doesn't have it, then it means my. Mi libro, my book. ¿Te acuerdas de mí? Same pronunciation, by the way. The intonation doesn't change when saying me. And me with the accent mark means me. Okay, me. ¿Te acuerdas de mí? Do you remember me? Okay, so this is a very, very good question. Of course, you can change this to anything else because remember, recordar can be used to say to remember something or someone. In this situation, we are talking about someone, but you can replace this with something else. For example, ¿te acuerdas de mi casa? Okay. ¿Te acuerdas de mi casa? This is a different me, same pronunciation as the previous one, but this one doesn't have the accent mark, and that means my. Casa means house. ¿Te acuerdas de mi casa? Do you remember my house? So this is something, right? This is something. We are asking the person, do you remember this place or this house? Okay, so it's interesting. It's very simple, but it's good to know that you can use that verb for both things, some things and in general people. Okay, now Let's look at another example using the verb recordar. Okay. Let's see what we have here. ¿Recuerdas el viaje? Another question. Del año pasado. ¿Recuerdas el viaje del año pasado? This means, do you remember last year's trip? That can happen too. In this situation, we are talking about something that happened. So you can use recordar for that as well. So the question, let's break it down. ¿Recuerdas? ¿Tú recuerdas? Oh, by the way, this is acordar. This is a different verb. Oh my God, I just realized that I used a synonym here. Okay. Okay, so you can say that, te acuerdas, by the way, or you can say, me recuerdas. Okay, so this question changes. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. But now you know another verb, acordar. Acordar can also mean, it has quite a few meanings, that other verb. But it sounds similar to recordar. And acordar can also mean remember, to remember. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I'm going to change this. Me recuerdas. It's a bit different. It's a bit different. The question is a bit different. If I say, let me just change this back to te acuerdas de mí. If I use recordar here, te recuerdas de mí, it sounds a little odd. It sounds odd. I mean, the person, if you say this to someone, they will understand you. But more common way to say, do you remember me, using the verb recordar is me recuerdas. Okay, and that means, do you remember me? Okay, we're not using te, okay, we're using just me, which means me, okay, me as well. It's a different pronoun. And recordar here, oh my God, recordar here gives away that you're talking about you, okay? You, tú recuerdas, okay? Tú recuerdas, we don't need tú, we need just recuerdas. So remember, me recuerdas, and that means we don't have, in Spanish, we don't really have do you, will you, did you, we don't have that, the do, okay? So this is, I mean, it's not present, but it's kind of, it's the translation, do you remember me? Me recuerdas? Do you remember me? I'm so sorry. I don't know why I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. But yeah, you can use the verb recordar, okay, for the same situation and for the same question. Okay, recuerdas. Let's move on. Recuerdas. Recuerdas. Again, tú recuerdas. We don't need tú or you, nor do you, okay? But recuerdas is similar to saying, do you remember? Recuerdas. And then el means the, okay? We don't have it in English. Viaje. Viaje means trip, okay? Del año pasado. Del is similar to the apostrophe S in English. And año means year. Pasado, last. Okay. ¿Recuerdas el viaje del año pasado? Do you remember last year's trip? Okay. So that's what we're asking here. And oh boy, I feel so bad that I I had a different verb before, but I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Anyways, so recuerdas is a very good use of the verb recordar, and it means do you remember? Okay, recuerdas means do you remember? My God, I don't know what's wrong with my brush. Today, I'm having just things happening to me. But anyways, ¿recuerdas el viaje del año pasado? Do you remember last year's trip? Anyways, remember, recordar means to remember. That's like the basic, oh, I know why. I know what's happening. Okay. Recordar means to remember. And we could be talking about something. It could be events, it could be places, it could be houses and other things, some things, or it could be people, someone. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Anyways, do you guys have any questions? We should talk about the verb acordar because that's another great verb. It has multiple meanings. Oh boy. Let me know if you have any questions. Man, that was meaning number 1. Okay. The next meaning. Let's talk about the next meaning. The beauty of live streaming. Huh? You can't edit anything while doing this. So mistakes happen. Okay. The next meaning is recordar. Obviously, recordar means to recall some information. So when you have to recall things that happened, you can use the verb recordar. So it's very similar to saying to recall, specifically information. Okay, so let's see what we have here. ¿Recuerdas su nombre? ¿Recuerdas su nombre? This is another question. I'm using a lot of questions today. ¿Recuerdas su nombre? This means, can you recall his name? Okay, so do you remember or do you recall his name? Maybe I don't know, someone is asking you this because someone just got there asking for this person, and you told this person, hey, someone was here looking for you, and your friend, the person you're talking with, might say, ¿Recuerdas su nombre? Can you recall his name, or do you remember his name? And then you can say sí, no, or su nombre es, his name is, okay? So you can actually, obviously, answer this question really easily. ¿Recuerdas? ¿Tú recuerdas? So this is similar to saying, can you recall? Su means quite a few things. It means his and her as well, or hers. Might be her. Sorry, her. His and her. So su in this situation is his. Nombre means name. ¿Recuerdas su nombre? Can you recall his name? You can say, sí recuerdo su nombre. If you want to answer this question, if you want to say, yes, I recall his name. Sí recuerdo, yo recuerdo, we don't need yo, recuerdo su nombre. Okay. And this means, yes, I remember his name or I recall his name. Okay. So that's essentially what you're saying here. We're using su as well to just say his, okay? Su nombre, his name. Recuerdo, once again, can mean recall. You don't need to say yo all the time. Yo means I, okay? But in Spanish, we don't say yo all the time, so you don't really need to say it often. Okay. So, ¿recuerdas su nombre? Can you recall his name? Okay. Now let's look at some other example. Let's look at another example using the verb recordar. No recuerdo la última vez que lo vi. No recuerdo la última vez que lo vi. And this means I can't recall the last time I saw him. Okay? So we're talking about information, things that happened. Okay? No means no, means don't, means won't, didn't. So we don't, no is the word for all those words, okay? So no means, also it means can't. So it's pretty much all negative, all negative situations. You obviously need to know the context. What are you saying? What verbs are you using? In this situation, no recuerdo. No recuerdo is similar to saying I can't recall. Okay? La means the feminine, la última vez. And we are using a feminine article because vez is feminine and it means time. Okay? Vez sounds like it's masculine, but it's actually feminine. La vez. La última vez. Última, it's an adjective and it means last. It's also feminine. Why? Because the noun is feminine. So always pay attention to nouns in Spanish. Are the nouns or is the noun feminine or masculine? Because if it's feminine, then you need feminine adjectives, feminine articles, okay? And if it's masculine, well, masculine adjectives, masculine articles, okay? So just remember that. Que, we don't have que here, something similar to que in English, but it's similar to saying the last time that I saw him, okay? We need que in Spanish, la última vez que. Even you can remember this phrase, la última vez que, because that phrase, you can use it in different situations. So if you want to say the last time I ate a cake was long time ago, or the last time I exercised was long time ago, for example, or yesterday, and so on. So if you want to say that in Spanish, la última vez que comí pastel fue hace mucho tiempo. The last time I ate cake was long time ago. La última vez que hice ejercicio fue ayer. The last time I exercised was yesterday. Okay? So, la última vez que is a very good phrase that you can use if you want to say the last time ... Lo Lo can mean him. Okay. It's a pronoun. Lo is a tricky one because this word can be a pronoun. It could be a definite article in some situations, but it is mainly a pronoun and it means it or him. Okay, so him in this situation, lo means him. Yo vi, we don't need yo, we need be. This is a verb, by the way, and it comes from the it's a conjugated form of the verb ver. Yo veo, tú ves, él ve. Yo vi, I saw. Okay, so yo vi means I saw. We don't need yo, we need be. Be, saw. Okay, I saw. Excellent. So, no recuerdo la última vez que lo vi. I can't recall the last time I saw him. Okay? So this is quite interesting that you can use recordar if you want to say to recall in Spanish. Specifically, information. Okay? Remember, recuerda. Recordar can also mean to remember, like we previously talked about. Excellent. Any questions? Hello, botas con Carol. Carol. Hola a todos alrededor del mundo. Dios los bendiga mucho a todos. Viva México. Welcome, botas. Welcome. Great at work. Welcome. Great at work. ¿Dónde recuerdes poner mis llaves? That is a great example. That's a great example. I would say, ¿recuerdas dónde puse mis llaves? Okay, let me just put it here. Remember, recuerdas is very useful when you want to say, do you remember? Okay, let's just use this one. ¿Recuerdas dónde puse? I know that word sounds quite interesting, but puse, sorry, without the accent mark, puse comes from the verb poner. Puse is present tense. So puse, yo puse, I put, past tense. I put the keys here. Yo puse las llaves aquí. Okay, so ¿recuerdas dónde puse mis llaves? Let me just fix that. Okay. Okay. So this means, do you remember where I put my keys? Okay. So recuerdas is remember. You need to say first recuerdas and then dónde. You can also use other words like cuándo, when, dónde, where, cuánto, how much, okay, or how many. It depends on what you want to say. And you need to say first recuerdas. And that means, do you remember? In a question, of course. ¿Dónde, where, puse, I put, present tense, past tense, mis, my, llaves. keys. Okay, so that is the correct order of or structure of this question, but it's interesting. Thank you for sharing. Great at work. Thank you for sharing that. Puse. You have to conjugate poner as well. Puse. Okay. ¿Recuerdas dónde puse mis llaves? ¿Recuerdas dónde? Let me change this to something else. ¿Recuerdas dónde? Trabajé. I'm pretty sure this one has the accent mark. Otherwise, it would say trabaje. Different thing. ¿Recuerdas dónde trabajé? Do you remember where I worked? Okay. So you need to have the verb in priority tense. Or if you want to say something in present tense, you can actually say, ¿recuerdas dónde trabajo? And that means, do you remember where I work? So you're working still at this place, right? So very interesting, very interesting. Very, very good. Very good. It's tricky. It can be tricky for sure. No problem. Great at work. Thank you for sharing. That's how we learn, you know. I mean, I know Spanish already. That's my native language. But when I was learning English, I would just ask, you know. And at first I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna make so many mistakes. But you know what? It's worth it. You learn more. You get clarity. You know, you understand. So it's great. It's great. Thank you for sharing. Great at work. So for her, would it be que la vi? Exactly. Welcome, Greeny King. Exactly. No recuerdo la última vez que la vi. I can't recall the last time I saw her. Exactly that. You got it right. How about recuerdas tus modales, por favor? That would be recuerda. Recuerda tus modales, por favor. Okay? Tú recuerda. Recuerda, remember. Recuerdas is a different tense. Okay? When you say recuerdas, you are conjugating the verb recordar in present tense in the indicative mood. Okay? Recuerdas. When you want to use an imperative mood, so it's used for commands. Okay? You're not asking or you're not saying tú recuerdas, you remember. Okay? You are saying remember your manners. Okay? Remember. So that is a command. And the command for the personal pronoun tú, which means you, in the imperative mood is recuerda. Recuerda lavarte las manos. Remember to wash your hands. Recuerda tus modales, por favor. Remember your manners, please. Okay? Recuerda cerrar la puerta. Remember to close the door. Okay? So it's different. It's a different mood, different conjugation. But essentially, yes, you can say that. Recuerda, remember. Okay? So great question. Vicious. Great question. Okay. Excellent, excellent. Let's move on. Meaning number 3. Meaning number 3. Let's see. Let's see. Recordar means to remind someone of something. Okay? Recordar, recordar can also be used to say, hey, remember to do something. Okay? Or I need you to remind me to call this person tomorrow. So you can say that. So remember to remind, they're a bit different, but recordar can also mean to remember. Don't forget that. So remind me, recuérdame, to remind someone of something, recordar. So let's see how you can use the verb in this way. Okay? Recuerda echar seguro a la puerta. ¿Ok? Recuerda echar seguro a la puerta. This means remember to lock the door. That's a command, right? You're just telling this person, hey, remember, or I know it says remember, but it can change. For example, let me just break this down and let me change it a little bit to make recordar. I want recordar to mean to remind. Okay, so let's break this down really quickly before I move on. So recuerda, as I was saying before, recuerda is a command and it means remember. Remember to do something. Okay, echar seguro. By the way, echar seguro a. Let's include a. That whole phrase means to lock. Echar seguro a. There's different ways to say this. Echar seguro a is a common one that means to lock. Okay? Because it's different when you close the door and when you lock the door. Okay? So if you want to say, lock the door, you can say echar seguro a. And of course, let's not forget the door. La means the, puerta means door. La puerta, the door. Now, how can I make this to change to remind, Okay, so let's do that. Recuérdame echarle. Recuérdame echar. You can actually just, you can say le or not, but recuérdame echar seguro a la puerta. This changed to remind me to lock the door. By the way, recuérdame. One sec. This needs an accent mark. My God, accent marks, huh? They're everywhere in Spanish. Recuérdame echar seguro a la puerta. Remind me to lock the door. Okay? So one important thing to note here is me. This is a pronoun. Again, I'm doing the same thing. Oh my goodness. Me is a pronoun and it means me. Okay? Me. You can actually attach that to verbs. So, tú recuérdame. So you conjugate this for the personal pronoun tú, because you're telling this to someone, right? So you're saying, remind me. You remind me, okay? You. So that's why we don't need tú. We need recuerda. And then you add me, and that means remind me. Recuérdame, recuérdame. And also if you say recuérdame, I don't know if you've watched the movie Coco, this Pixar movie. And I believe there's a song called Recuérdame, and that means also remember me. Okay? So it can mean remind me or remember me. So context, context, context. That's very important. So echar seguro, you know that. That means to lock. And again, la puerta, the door. Okay? Now, if you need to remind someone to lock the door, then it's different. You have to change a few things. Well, there's different ways to say this, but I'm gonna just show you one. Te voy a recordar just one sec. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Te voy a recordar. This is different. This is the, yeah. Okay, we're gonna make some changes. Te voy a recordar que. You can say, te voy a recordar echar seguro a la puerta, but it sounds a bit incomplete. Te voy a recordar echar seguro a la puerta. Que eches seguro a la puerta. So let's just bring seguro down here. Seguro, by the way, is the lock. La puerta tiene seguro. The door is locked. Okay, so that's a good phrase. Echar seguro, tener seguro. Echar seguro is to lock. Tener seguro, it's when something is locked. Oh my God, it's like a lot. A lot. We need to talk about that in a different lesson. But anyways, let's focus on recordar. So when you say, te voy a recordar que eches or que le eches seguro a la puerta. So it's longer, I know. Te voy a recordar que le eches seguro a la puerta. And this means I'll remind you to lock the door. Okay, so you're saying that you will remind someone to do something. Okay, so let's break this down really quickly. Te voy a, by the way, this is one way to say I will do something. Okay, there's other ways, but this is a common one. Te voy a, and this is similar to saying I will do something. In this situation, we're talking about reminding someone to do something. So that's why we have recordar. When you use the phrase te voy a, you need to add, you can add a verb in the infinitive form. So that means don't conjugate the verb. So just put the verb there. Te voy a recordar. I will remind you, or I will remember you something. Or you can say, te voy a amar siempre. I will love you always or forever. Okay? So, te voy a dar dinero. I will give you money. Okay, so te voy a is a common phrase that is similar to saying I will do something. Okay, it's incomplete. You have to add the verb, of course. Recordar. When you say te voy a, te is saying that you are going to or you will do something to someone. You know, you will do something to someone or for someone. Specifically, you're saying, for example, I'll give you money. I'll remind you about something. So you're doing something for someone, right? But it's just the idea. It's not a literal translation. Okay. Que is to add more to the sentence, of course. And you can say, te voy a recordar que. Recordar and que work together really well. So when you say, te voy a recordar que, that means I'll remind you to do something, okay? Le eches, tú le eches. So le is a pronoun. We don't need tú. We need le eches. Le eches, even though it sounds like leche, which means milk in Spanish, we are saying le because you're referring to the door. And even though the door is here, it's like a reflexive situation here. So you are saying twice door, okay? Because you are going to lock the door. Le eches is similar to saying, or by the way, le eches seguro a means to lock or lock. The puerta, door. Okay. So in future lessons, I would like to talk about le. I believe I have a lesson about it already, but le can be just randomly there sometimes in Spanish. And it's just a pronoun that is just referring to the that you're going to do an action on something. In this situation, the door. Okay, the door. You're going to lock the door. Excellent. So yeah, recordar can mean to remind. Now let's look at another example using recordar. Okay. Recuérdame. There you go. Accent mark. Recuérdame. Oops. Hablar con María mañana. Recuérdame hablar con María mañana. This means remind me to call Maria tomorrow. Okay, you're not saying remember me to call Maria tomorrow. No, we're saying remind me to call Maria tomorrow. Okay, so let's break this down really quickly. Recuérdame. We already talked about this word. Comes from the verb recordar. Okay, we added me, which means me. Recuerda, remind. Okay, you remind me. Okay, recuérdame, remind me. Hablar, hablar. Hablar can mean to speak, to talk, and also to call, okay? To call someone, to use your phone and call someone, okay? Hablar, to call. We don't have to in this situation here. You're just saying, remind me, and then we have the verb in the infinitive form. We are not conjugating that, so it stays as is. So, recuérdame hablar is similar to saying, remind me to call. Okay. Con. This could also mean remind me to speak with Maria tomorrow, or to talk to Maria tomorrow as well. So context. It depends, right? But it has multiple meanings. Recuérdame hablar con María. María, hablar con means to call someone, right? Or to speak to or with someone, okay? Or to talk to someone, okay? Con, remember, even though this means with in Spanish, that's the literal translation, it depends. If you're talking about calling or talking or speaking, then it's similar to, it changes, the meaning changes. But hablar con is commonly said in Spanish. María, mañana. Mañana means tomorrow. Okay? Mañana, mañana. Recuérdame hablar con María mañana. Remind me to call María tomorrow. Excellent. Excellent. Remember, recordar can mean to remind someone of something, just to do something, or we're talking about things that you need to do or others need to do and you need to remind them, or you want them to remind you, okay, of something. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Recuerda decir el jefe estoy. Ajá. Recuerda decirle al jefe que voy a salir temprano. Okay. Okay. So I would say it's a great example. It's a great example, great at work. So recuerda decirle al jefe que voy a salir temprano. Okay, this means remember to tell the boss that I will leave early. Oh my goodness. Okay, early. Okay, so you're gonna leave early. Whoa, what happened? What did I do? There you go. There you go. That's how you would say it in Spanish. Okay. Recuerda, remember, decirle al jefe, to tell the boss que voy a, that I will leave, salir, leave, temprano, early. Okay. So, yeah. Recuérdame cuando cuentas cuentos. ¿Cuántos cuentos cuentas? That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a tongue twister. Voy a recordarte. Puedes usar como esto. Voy a recordarte means I will remember you. Or I will remind you something. To do something. Depends. Context, context, context. Thank you for sharing your examples, guys. Okay, the next meaning, we have two more, and then that's it. Recordar a. Recordar a means to bring to mind or to remind of. But we're talking about you remember, it's, you smell something and that reminds you of something special that happened in the past, or it brings something to your mind. It's like, oh my God, I remember this smell. It was from this time, or I remember the music, and just reminds me of my family, my friends, this person. Okay, so we're talking about bringing back memories. Okay, so let's look at some examples using recordar a. Okay, a is important to use in this situation. Okay, ¿a qué te recuerda? ¿A qué te recuerda? This means, what does it remind you of? Okay, so this is interesting. Where is a? A is at the beginning. A. Okay, so that's because it's a question. ¿A qué te recuerda? We have recuerda here. That's the verb recordar. Okay, for the personal pronoun you. Okay, you're asking this to one person. ¿A qué te recuerda? So this is remind you of, by the way. Whoa, what is happening? Wow, this is, what the? Where? I remember putting this here, but I don't know why it's here. Wow, okay, hang on. There you go. Okay. Let me just do this. There you go. Okay, sorry about that. Recuerda, remind you of. You is here. Okay, te. I know you in Spanish can be tú, but also can be te. It depends the verb and the question and what you want to say. What does? We really don't have this, but we have what, and what is here. Okay, so remember, in Spanish we don't have does or do. The verb do in questions, no, we don't have that in Spanish. So we just need what, te, right? Que, te, and then recordar a. ¿A qué te recuerda? What does it remind you of? That is the question here. It means that. I know it's very different. It's very different. Look at that. What is happening? It's very different, but that's how it works in Spanish. ¿A qué te recuerda? What does it remind you of? And then you can say, me recuerda a. Okay, me recuerda a. That's a, you're answering this question. Me recuerda a mi familia. We could be talking about a movie. We could be talking about a song, about a smell, about a place. But essentially what you're saying here, it reminds me of my family. Okay? So recordar can work really well with reflexive pronouns. Me, te, le, se, nos. Okay, so me recuerda means it reminds me of. Okay, me recuerda a, it reminds me of me, my, familia, family. Okay, so obviously you can change this to something else, but the interesting thing is that we have recuerda. What is going on? Essentially, you are, using recordar a. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're not talking about remembering. You're remembering, but it's more like it reminds me of something. So keep that in mind. It's quite interesting. So let's move on. Let's see what else we have here. We have another example. Okay. El olor de las galletas recién hechas me recuerda a la cocina de mi abuela. This is a long example, but you could say it fast. El olor de las galletas recién hechas me recuerda a la cocina de mi abuela. So, el olor, let me just say it slowly. El olor de las galletas recién hechas me recuerda a la cocina de mi abuela. Okay, so this whole thing means the smell of fresh cookies brings to mind my grandmother's kitchen. Okay, so it reminds me my grandmother's kitchen. Okay, interesting. Let's break this down. El olor means the smell. Okay, el olor, the smell. De, of, las galletas, the cookies, technically, but in this situation we just have cookies. Galletas means cookies. This term right here, recién hechas means fresh, specifically when talking about food. Okay, we could be talking about bread, cookies. Usually you're talking about just pastry and different kinds of bread, pretty much anything you can find at a bakery. It could be used for food in general, but it's used specially for those things that smell really good or taste really good when they're freshly made. Okay, so like cookies. Me recuerda a. We have it here as well, right? Me recuerda a, similar to saying brings to mind or reminds me of. Okay? It reminds you of. In this case, we're talking about cookies, right? La cocina, technically you're saying the kitchen, but we have just kitchen here. De mi, de is similar to saying apostrophe S. They can also mean of or from, but when talking about, grandmother's kitchen, so the kitchen belongs to the grandmother, so then it's similar to saying the apostrophe S, okay? Abuela, me, by the way, my abuela, grandmother, okay? Abuela, mi abuela, my grandmother, okay? So, that smell must be good. Man, I don't know what's happening to Photoshop right now. It's acting up. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, remember, recordar a means, or it's similar to saying to bring to mind or to remind of. When something reminds you of something else, okay? Of something in general. Reminds you of something. So do you guys have any questions? Okay. Man, the last meaning, and that is it. The last meaning, guys. And that's it. Let's see how you can use recordar in a different situation. A veces voy al parque, pero me recuerda a fue joven. Fue joven. Okay. Really? That's a great example. I will phrase it a little differently. I would say, a veces cuando voy al parque, me recuerda a cuando fui joven. Yeah. Me recuerda a cuando fui joven. Reminds me, you know, when I was younger. So you're pretty much remembering, or you're, the situation reminds you of when you were younger or when you were young. Yeah. ¿Por qué no pero? ¿Por qué no pero? A veces voy al parque, pero me recuerda a, well, you can say, a veces voy al parque, pero me recuerda a cuando fui joven. Me recuerda a cuando fui joven. You can say pero, but you're pretty much saying that you don't like to go to the park that often because it reminds you of when when you were younger. Or you can just say, yeah, I mean, you're just saying that just brings back memories when you were younger. Okay, so let's move on. Thank you for sharing. Great at work. And let's remember, let's look at the last meaning. Okay. Let me just, okay, I hope it's fine. Recordar can also mean to reminisce. This one is interesting. Because, you are using recordar as well. But now you're using it just to remember, similar to, when something reminds you of something, right? But you're just talking about the past, right? You recall past experiences, you're recalling past experiences, and you are pretty much just going back in time, pretty much, just a little bit. So you can use recordar for that as well. So let's look at some examples. Nos gusta recordar los viejos tiempos. Nos gusta recordar los viejos tiempos. This means we like to reminisce about the old times. So you're just talking about, old times. Maybe you liked the past, maybe you don't, but you're just talking about that, right? So, nos gusta, nos gusta. Nos gusta means we like. We like. When you add more, you don't have to say to, right? But you can just add a verb right after. Nos gusta recordar. So this is the verb that we're learning right now. We like to reminisce. Reminisce. Los viejos tiempos. Viejos tiempos or los viejos tiempos means the old times. We don't have about here. We don't have it. So we just have recordar. Okay, so just remember that. Man, recordar is all about, go back in and remember. And, like recordar can be used for so peculiar situations when something reminds you of something, or, you are talking about old times, or you're remembering old times, and you're just, saying to people, telling people your story. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So this is a very easy example. Let's move on and let's talk about the last example. A menudo recuerda sus viajes. A menudo recuerda sus viajes. This means he often reminisces about his travels. So yeah, I just imagine someone who has traveled a lot, and this person is saying, "Oh my God, I remember this trip when I was in this city, and I did this, and there were good times, and we did this, and I did this." Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what you're talking about here. So it's a good one. It's a good one for sure. A menudo. Let's break this down, by the way. A menudo means often. That's interesting. A menudo, you can also say seguido, okay? But a menudo is a common phrase that means often. Recuerda, él recuerda, he reminisces, and you are saying, you don't need to say él, you can say él, a menudo él recuerda, but you don't have to say él all the time. So just remember the conjugation of the verb recordar for he, okay? And it's in present tense in this situation. A menudo recuerda. He often reminisces. I cannot say this verb. Oh my goodness. Reminisces. And let's include about. We don't have it in Spanish here. His viajes. Viajes means travels or trips, just trips. He remembers his trips. He's talking about his trips. He's letting you know everything about them, and it might be good or it might be pretentious. Who knows? You might find that pretentious of him to say, I've been here and there, or maybe you're interested. Who knows? Okay, so remember, recordar can also means to reminisce, and it's a very good verb to say a bunch of things, but essentially you're just remembering, you're reminding someone to do something, like we learned previously. To recall as well. Recordar can mean to recall, to remember something or someone, to recall information, to remind someone to do something specifically. to do something, of course. And also it means, if you use a, recordar a, that means to bring to mind or to remind of. And also recordar can means to reminisce. Okay. Excellent. Any questions? Any questions? Recuerda tus negocios. Es como se dice, mind your business, ¿o no? I would not translate that from English into Spanish because I believe it's there isn't I mean, it makes no sense to me if you say recuerda tus negocios. It's a good question though. It's a good question. Recuerda tus negocios. That sounds more like don't forget about your businesses. You know, it sounds like someone has a bunch of businesses and they're not taking care of them. Mind your business in Spanish. It's different. It's different. Mind your business. Let me tell you how you can say this. Let me just I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Photoshop, but let me tell you, mind your business in Spanish. You can say this in different ways. Let me tell you really quickly, and then that's it. You can say métete. It's very informal. This is very informal. Use with caution. Métete en tus asuntos. And this means mind your business. That's the way to, wow. Okay. Don't, why Photoshop? Why are you? There's something really wrong with Photoshop right now. It's usually pretty good. Okay. Oops. Métete en tus asuntos means mind your business. Now, you can also say, let me show you another way to say mind your business in, like, I'm giving up here. Look at that. Why do, okay. Oh, hang on. There you go. Sorry about that. Métete en tus asuntos. Métete en tus asuntos. Okay? Métete en tus asuntos, mind your business. You can also say, okay, are you ready? Are you ready? The other way to say it is, ¿y a ti qué te importa? Very, very informal and even a little rude, by the way. This is rude. If you say these last phrases to someone, that it's not gonna be pretty, you know. The reaction of the other person is not gonna be pretty. Because this is like saying mind your business in English, right? ¿Y a ti qué te importa? And then the other way to say it is no te metas donde no te llaman. That's another long one. No te metas donde no te llaman. Mind your business. Okay? So that's how you, different ways to say something similar to mind to business, mind your business in Spanish. Use with caution because it's very rude. I would not even say it. I would I would not say it. But yeah, that's how you say it. If you hear this from a person, that's what it means. Great at work. Just thank you for your time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind message and also for sharing examples. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's it, guys. I gotta go. Thank you so much for watching. Muchísimas gracias, profesora. De nada. De nada. No hay problema. I hope you liked this lesson. If you liked it, please give it a like. That helps me a lot. And also remember to subscribe to this channel. It's free. And if you want to support this channel even more, you can get a Cafecito membership. So if you want to read about it, click on the join button down below. I have a Spanish community on Discord, so if you want to be part of it, you can do it for free, and you can find the link in the video, not video, but the stream description down below. Please read the rules before joining that server. It's very important, and yeah, that's it. If you want to get notified every time I live stream, I recommend you click on the notification icon, the bell icon next to the subscribe button, and just turn all the notifications on so YouTube lets you know every time I live stream. I do live stream every week. Sometimes I live stream on Monday, sometimes Sunday. I really don't have a time, day and time to do this. I do it whenever I get a chance. So just click on that bell icon and YouTube will let you know every time I'm live. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Take care. Nos vemos a la próxima. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Thank you so much for being here. Nos vemos hasta la próxima. Hasta la próxima. See you next time. Bye.